Welcome to ELF. We are on the third unit for this year of cycles, and this unit is called Insects and Twigs in Winter. This unit will focus on the physiology of twigs, which are a miniature account of the trees in the past, present, and future. We're also going to focus on galls, which are an abnormal growth of plant tissue produced by an outside stimulant, usually an irritant or chemical induced by a fungus, virus, mites, and most commonly insects. We're going to start with our outline like we usually do. It's on the cover of all of our bins, and you'll find these in the ELF work closet. At any time, remember, if you have any questions, to contact us at mitchellelf@gmail.com. On the cover of the outline, we have a suggested use of our class time. There's a 2-hour window for your class time, and that includes a 15-minute setup. You can usually do that in the hall or in the classroom. 15-minute introduction, 4 centers at 15 to 20 minutes each, and a 15-minute conclusion with 15 minutes left to clean up. So you have all that time, 2 hours. You know you're there for 2 hours. It's not 2.5 hours. It's not 3 hours. You're set for your time at Mitchell with ELF. Our introduction here has opening questions you can use to ask the kids about how trees and twigs can be used in the wintertime to identify, how twigs can be used to identify trees in the wintertime. And then we talk about how insects survive in the winter. If you remember, our last unit was focusing on trees, and now our next unit is going to focus on insects. So we're kind of pulling them together and trying to make a winter wonderland kind of unit. So, again, you can go through these opening questions for your introduction, and our focus is listed here on the outline. Before you get to your ELF day, on the PTA website, we do have 2 bits of information. This is a lot of background information on the 2 units. One is about winter twigs, and again, it's going to focus on the physiology of twigs. It's a miniature account of the trees past, present, and future. It's going to help us identify buds and branches and their patterns and arrangements. And we're also going to look at lenticels, which are the breathing kind of spots on branches and twigs. We're going to look at their color and texture. And then our puppet show over here has 5 puppets and scripts. And Henry, our trusty little boy in all of our puppet shows, observes a living dormant tree and how its twigs, buds, and bark bud and bark feed the winter animals and can help to identify the trees. Then, in our units, we're going to move to galls, and you could use this puppet show. This is a rare occurrence that we have 2 puppet shows to use. But the puppet show for the galls talks about the woodchuck travels through his environment wanting to eat, but learns about the fly larva in the goldenrod, the wasp in the oak apple gall, multiple wasps in the raspberry knot gall, and gnats in the willow galls. So, basically, the woodchuck decides, oh, I don't want to eat these galls because there's babies in there. But again, with the galls, we have this background information. It's on the website. It's a good idea to maybe print it out if you're the class coordinator or whoever's going to lead the introduction and conclusion, because these bits of information give you lots of information. So again, a gall is an abnormal growth of plant tissue produced by an outside stimulant. It's usually an insect that has an irritant in the chemical. So maybe the mom is going to inject something when she lays the egg in the plant, or the larva that's born in the plant will secrete something that makes the plant form this gall. Galls are an indispensable part of many insects' life cycles. It's a home and food for the developing young. They come in a variety of sizes, shapes, and textures, and they can only develop while the part of that plant is growing, so they wouldn't do it in the winter months. The chemical that the larva is secreting, or that the mother injected into the plant, it chemically changes the starches into sugars, which yields food and shelter, if you've seen a gall. I don't have any examples in the introduction, but you'll see them in center, I think, 2 and 3, I'm not quite sure. Anyways, there are fossils of galls that go back to 300 million years old on willow trees, and the insect is plant species specific, but many galls can house other visiting insects. So again, galls are critical in the life cycle of many insects, and that's why we're kind of studying it, because with the dormancy of winter, many insects survive, and many insects survive on galls, and many animals survive on twigs. That's how we kind of put these 2 together. So the rest of the bin, like I said, we have 2 puppet shows. We got lots of stuff, so you could use that for one for the intro, one for the conclusion, or both for the intro. We also have this really cool video You'll have to talk with your teacher ahead of time how to get this to play on the CD, but it's a 5-minute runtime of the goldenrod and the gallfly, and it shows a little gallfly and its life cycle and how it goes into the goldenrod. Then the last thing we have is the conclusion bin. It has a really cool thing you can read to the kids. It's called Gall Fantasy, and they get to act out what it's like to be a gallfly. So it's to understand the life cycle of one gall insect. So this is kind of a noisy activity. You'll have all the kids grab their jackets and they become little gallflies. And then we always give you other options. Read a storybook, watch the video, do the other puppet show, sharing circle, go outside, or the snack. Now for a snack we decided to focus on the galls, as you could take a big marshmallow, a big poofy one, stick a jelly bean in there, and then put 2 pretzels out, or 3 pretzel rods for the twigs. So that's always a fun snack because the kids love finding their jelly bean bug inside. And that is all we have for the information. I'd ask you again, whenever you put your materials back in the ELF bins, that you get them back in the envelopes. It's very hard to keep us organized for 20 classrooms, and we need your help doing that. Also, if you're running low on supplies, I know the introduction and conclusion didn't have any supplies, but if you're running low on supplies, please let your class coordinator know, and they will let us know. Or you can let us know directly. With your questions, comments, and running low on supplies, contact us at mitchellelf@gmail.com.